Caught in the city, rushing through me. Down Wall Street, are you with me? Feeling down Wall Street, are you with me?
So, let's switch to Ladies and gentlemen, it's Adrian Zdunchik, CMT Charter Market Technician. Welcome to the sixth edition of our Trading Congress. It's Trading Congress 2024, as we every year on an annual basis come up with a virtual trades camp for traders to understand and appreciate the best figures, the best traders, the best inspiring personas in a space, basically to guide us through a little bit of the trenches, right? And first and foremost, I want to congratulate to everybody for taking the advantage straight in up, for this opportunity, because it's always easier to be backseat driver and just blame everything else but ourselves for our own mistakes. While we are given the opportunities, all we have to do is to answer it. At times it's difficult. However, with the right people, it's going to be easier. And such a right person is actually today's very guest, my true friend, my very big look up to person, whose name is Carl Runefelt. And you can also know Carl Runefelt as the Moon Carl, or right now, as I see, he's just updated the X/Twitter name to the Moon Show. So Carl, my man, the legend. There's not a single person in crypto that doesn't know Carl. And privately, I'm a big fan of Carl, for his ethics, for his business passion, for his, story that I hope we're gonna see and hear more about today. So first and foremost, thanks for coming to the show, Carl. And how's it going? How are you feeling?
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I'm doing very well. And I mean, we've known each other for a long time. And I think we're both fans of each other. We're following each other on all socials. So good to always chat with you, man. And yeah, I did change the name to The Moon Show on YouTube and on Twitter because my YouTube channel and my Twitter is now bigger than just myself. We're more people behind it now. So we have more hosts. And basically, we want to bring people content every day, all the time. So The Moon Show now.
I like that. The Moon Show. Anything that includes moon, of course, is very buzzy and good, in crypto, because that's the direction it seems, right? North and upwards and onwards for at least for the past 2 years or so, ever since the bull market kicked off. So you're here, Carl Runefelt, the man, the person behind the success of the Moon Show right now. Like what it feels like to be you right now. What's the story? What's the origins basically leading to being you where you are at right now?
Well, I mean, I personally would tell you that law of attraction was my biggest breakthrough. That was actually the breakthrough that made me change my life. So before crypto, I was working in a supermarket. I was actually buying physical gold and silver because I thought that was the answer to the evil banking system. But later, I found out about Bitcoin, and I started buying Bitcoin instead. But I was still in the supermarket back then, and I started my YouTube channel to teach people about Bitcoin so I could learn faster myself. And my channel grew very fast. It was called The Moon then. Now it's called The Moon Show. And yeah, I I I basically exploded in crypto and had a lot of fans starting following me, and yeah, it's been a ride since then, and it's been amazing. I enjoy every day of it, even the bear markets, because in the bear markets, my audience is still there. I still make videos, I still get thousands of views per video, and people are there supporting me, and I support them. Like, it's nice. So I love it. And yeah, the story is basically, yeah, supermarket to where I am today in a quite short period of time because of the law of attraction.
That's interesting, man. And what I'm thinking of every time I see you, basically on any conference, yeah, where we meet, there is always a crowd of people. Like let's call it cheerleaders, right? Or the cheer people who cheer up for you, and you cheer up for them. It's very mutual. And what I truly admire about you, Carl, is basically that you pay attention to each and every single person, regardless, where they are from, who they are. So it's there's no prejudice, there's no prejudgment from your perspective, right? There is a very, just like you mentioned, that there seems to be a lot of gratefulness and a lot of just being thankful to the story on your end, because you've grown so much, you've developed so much, and you've inspired thousands and thousands of people. And when they come and approach you, you smile, you're a good person, you're very genuine, right? While there are so many other kind of like influencers, scammers, and they are just fake, and they would just not pay attention to the other people. Here you're different, I've always had a lot of admiration about that, for you. And obviously you tap up on the markets, yourself. You kind of like you're exposed capitally, to crypto. Even though you mentioned that you kicked off with the precious metals, which is still a fair choice, I'd say that it pays a lot of effort to identify which part of market cycle we are in, right? If it's some sort of like an early stage, if it's the late stage. On one hand, some people still disbelieve that Bitcoin is close to 100,000. On the other hand, we're looking at those crazy pump fund memes that just get out of control. So which phase of the market cycle are we in, you say?
I dropped your internet. I don't know, or was it my internet? Maybe I didn't get the last few seconds.
Got you. So the question is, which part of the market cycle are we in right now, you say?
Um, I think we're just in the middle of the bull cycle, and then people think, oh, but we didn't see altcoin season yet. Yeah, because Bitcoin took the first part of the bull cycle, and the second part is the more violent part, and that part happens now, basically, or like when Bitcoin breaks 100K, which is going to happen very soon. Then we will see the second stage, which will be the exponential state. And then I believe Bitcoin will go to first like 130, 140, and that's going to be like a place where people think that was the top, because that's many people have predicted 130, 140, 150. So I think that's going to be like people think that's the top, but I see zero chance that Bitcoin breaks 100K and then only pumps another 50%, and then that's the bear market. No way. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, when we break 100K, that means we break into the stratosphere, and that means media attention, articles, PR, companies and governments and funds will be like looking at Bitcoin and think, like, wow, what's happening here? Like, I thought this thing was dead since 2021 or since 2017 or whatever. Like, you know, um, and I think that is the reason why we're going to see a massive influx of not millions or tens of millions, but actually billions of people. Maybe like 2 billion people will start looking into, should I buy Bitcoin? And the answer to most people will be, well, yes, mostly through FOMO, because they have fear of missing out. But you know how it is. Like, the moment you buy just $100 worth of Bitcoin or $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you basically dip your toe and you start researching, and eventually you become one of those crypto nerds like you and myself. We cannot think about anything else. So we have to convert more people from the mainstream to become these crypto diehard, nerds that we are, that will never sell. And out of those 2 billion people that put like maybe $1,000 in, um, at least maybe 300 million of them could be those that become the hodlers of last resort, meaning that they will not sell their Bitcoin, and then that's going to drive Bitcoin up to maybe 500,000 or even more. So I think that's going to happen next year. I'm very excited about that.
Man, I mean, the feeling is one thing, of course, because I actually align on that front as well. I'm much more of a chart guy as a number guy, right? So I try not to have, I'd say, my feelings somehow interfere, into what I project, right? Because it's at times easy to get overexcited or under or over depressed, if you will, at the bottoms, which many people do, right? And so I always try to control and just tame the emotions, right? However, we still have to kind of like comprehend the like you mentioned, the sentiment, like what people feel, and likely we can quantify this, right? As in, for instance, simple fear and greed index, right, telling us basically how many people on average feel excited or they feel fearful, and so on. Just like you mentioned, the FOD and the FOMO type of a measure. Another number I always look at is the Google searches, right? As in the Google Trend searches. And for everybody who's watching and viewing that right now, we're talking about the last time I checked, it was 52 or 58%, anywhere between 50 and 60% basically of interest, as compared versus basically 2021 peak, right? And we've matured so much more. Like we've got funds right now that are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars. We've got all the institutions, all the central banks that are coming from the next year beginning. We have countries that are dedicating their percentage of reserves crypto assets. So, and the retail hasn't even landed. Just like you mentioned, the retail hasn't even got awakened just yet. So except for, let's say, the Google Trend searches or the fear and greed, the sentiment stuff, what other tools or the toolkits or sort of like indicators do you use for your own use? How do you know when the top is?
I think the answer to that is I don't know. Like, I think nobody can ever know when is the exact top. However, there are a few things you can keep in mind. So, after the Bitcoin halving, usually approximately 1 year after, you will see the cycle top approximately. So, time wise, you can just think, well, approximately 1 year after the halving, maybe taking some profits could make sense. Maybe buying that Ferrari or buying that ring or watch or whatever, but instead of thinking you're going to catch the exact top, I think what's more productive and more lucrative or safer, let's say, is to just dollar cost average out of crypto, just like you dollar cost averaged into crypto. So instead of, let's say someone put $1,000 into crypto 1 year ago, and now it's probably worth 5K. Next year it's probably going to be worth, I don't know, 50K. And instead of selling all of that 50K at one moment in time, because maybe it goes to 100K or maybe it goes down to 25K. So why choose one point when you can take, let's say, $500 weekly? Let's say you can start maybe $100 weekly right now. I think the most important thing is to set a schedule that we stick to. So let's say your crypto stack is worth now, let's say, $5,000. Then why don't you sell $50 or $100 per week now over the next 6 months, which should be over the bull market. And if it pumps to $250,000, then maybe you increase that to $1,000 per week, or maybe better, instead of thinking in terms of dollars, you think in terms of Bitcoin or whatever token it is. So let's say you're holding Ethereum, let's say, just for the sake of maybe 1,000 Ethereum, which is a lot for most people, I get it, but like 1 Ethereum every week, like no matter the price, that's what you're going to sell until you sold maybe 30% of your Ethereum, over the next 6 months. I think that's smarter, because then you're dollar cost averaging out, and you're basically guaranteed to be in profits without missing the bull market or selling too late or too early. You're basically averaging out your sell. I think that's smart.
I think there's been a couple of releases. I think one was from Katie Woods, if I'm not mistaken, from Mark Invest, basically getting a little bit of a conservative case for Ethereum to reach 20K by the end of 2025, or basically be towards the peak, right? And on one hand, of course, it may be some sort of like psyops, as people say, like some psychological operations, and some social type of engineering. Although on another hand, when you take a look what Ethereum does, right, for instance, and how many, of course, how much of the interest there is as the second largest, crypto basically in the world, and so many different applications on the decentralized finance side, all of a sudden 3 to 20, or 3.5 to 20 is not too far, right? It's nothing that crypto didn't do before, basically. So knowing a little bit of the positive expectations of yours, Carl, for the 2025, which I fully wholeheartedly agree, by the way, and there are numbers for it, as in, there's actual raw facts, numbers, evidence from the past decades, through the correlations of Bitcoin to stocks and to S&P 500 and to Nasdaq, how it correlates strongly, and the momentum, the growth, how it's been performing ever since 2023 started, or bottom of the cycle, basically the bear market, 2022, 23 for the confirmation. So all in all, there's this strong uplifting curve, right? That cannot be refuted because it's happened already. So there's nothing to debate. There's nothing to refute. And I think those who read the numbers, of course, and just maneuver around those numbers, even if they have emotions and they can be accurate about their emotions, we still have to rely on the numbers, right? And the numbers are very positive, just like I mentioned for the next year. And part of the numbers of the crypto interest goes to other narratives, such as right now meme coins, such as of course DeFi, such as all the tokenized RWAs, the real world assets, or the GameFi, right, or the top or the well master nodes, if you will, right? So what sort of narratives are you expecting privately, Carl, to appear or to reappear, to emerge in the coming months?
I personally believe that a narrative that has not gotten a huge hype yet, but which is a very, very strong one, is the crypto gaming narrative, which is a industry which is growing very fast and very violently. Even outside of crypto, gaming is massive. So gaming is already a very lucrative, massive industry. And when you combine crypto with gaming, you get a new industry of innovation and exciting products in the gaming space. So I think that is going to be a massive thing. And we haven't seen the crypto games pump yet. You can see that most of them are still down like 95% from their all-time highs, even more sometimes. And um, I am very excited about that. I think, I mean, I've been buying a bunch of crypto gaming tokens in the past few months, and I keep dollar cost averaging into them. I see everything else is pumping, but I keep buying because I know that they're gonna pump very soon. And yeah, that's a big one.
All right, so game fight aspects. Like, how about any other? Like, are you personally kind of like invested into RWAs? Do you see any value from what Larry Thing, for instance, says as the CEO of BlackRock, that they're actually going tokenized, and he says that all of his ETFs are going to be tokenized basically by, if I'm not mistaken, 2027 or so. I might be wrong, right? So you might want to go and search. Although, like, are you at all getting interested into other narratives as well? Like, do you get interested at all, like, in the meme coins hype right now, or is it something that you just prefer not to touch?
I mean, I have a fund, right? And we did invest a little bit in meme coins, but not based on like what I think is. I just told the guys in the fund, like, look, let's get some exposure to meme coins, and tell me which ones to buy. And then we just had a list of like 15 of them, and we just randomly dumped some money into there just to have exposure to that sector. But I think meme coins in general is like a casino. But if you think meme coins will do well in this cycle, which I do think, then it does make sense to have exposure to them. But there is no index for meme coins. If there was, I would probably just buy the index. But instead of buying index, we just chose 15 strong ones that we just basically dumped like a few, some money into each of them, and also, of course, personally, outside of the fund, I put money into Dogecoin, Floki, and Shiba like 3-4 months ago, because I felt like this is almost like an index of meme coins, because it's like if meme coins do well, Doge will do well, And you have Elon, you have Trump, like they're gonna pump, they're gonna for sure pump Dogecoin. I'm pretty sure of that. So it's a easy bet.
My man, Elon Musk always says that the funniest outcome is the most likely, right? which is actually the case, huh?
Exactly. It's so funny.
Crazy. Um, all right, so knowing of the meme, because I fully agree on the meme coin index, by the way, right? It would be so much easier, and obviously, like we spoke earlier, it's just getting a little bit out of control. Like most of the new things that just emerge, people go and test out the barriers on the extremes, and just push it too far at times. So probably services like pump fund are still going to be like restricted from use to many people, or at least to many regions, including US, I'd say. Although the emergence, the growth, has not only been on the financial side of yours, right? I mean, I've seen your Bugatti. I mean, it's a beautiful car, right? It's a beautiful car. Of course, you've got all of those kind of like fancy good stuff, and of course, like you and I, we had a couple of discussions about it. At the same time, I mean, it's worth having, right? However, it doesn't necessarily like make you who you are, right? It may be helpful in many different shapes, and it just times fun in life. Although it's actually who you are that people appreciate, Carl, right? And every single discussion you and I we had, it's always been very, very genuine. very uh, very, like I said, big dose of gratefulness coming from your end to everything and everybody around. So I truly appreciate it, and many other people appreciate it too, right? Not only because claiming of your success, from X, from all the socials, from the YouTubes. Congratulations on that again. But it also comes as being rewarded, on stages with, my guess is, every single possible KOL type of an award that you can win, right? So you've got probably 50,000 all of those, right? I don't see it maybe behind the screen, although you're gonna have a lot of those trophies. So what would you say, like, having this strong leadership, to many people in many eyes, that are stepping into crypto, the first thing they're gonna see is your brand. The first person they're gonna see is you, right? So what would you say is your role into taking in all those people? Like, what sort of communication, what sort of communicate message you want to give them? How do you want to shape this industry from your perspective?
I mean, I think it's important that we always, talk about things we believe in, and we always, do things that we believe in, because then, of course, it will be authentic. And that's what I try to do on my channel. I always talk about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will change people's lives. It changed my life in terms of the money I make, but more importantly, how I view the world, how I view the monetary system, and how yeah, my worldview basically. And I think it's a very healthy worldview I have now, looking how, knowing more about what money is and what it's not, and how banks work, and that's what I want to teach people. And I think that's very important. And yeah, and just keep building things that can be good things for crypto. For example, I started cryptojobs.com. It's a job board, now the biggest one in crypto. And one of those products that, will I make billions from it? No, probably not. But like, I just thought, I want to build products that people can use, that are part of the fundamentals of crypto. Like jobs in crypto. That's like one of the most important things, because without the jobs, there's no crypto companies. So, cryptojobs.com was one of those things where I was like, you know what, I wanna build something good here, because I saw the competitors and they were not very good. And I thought, yeah. So I bought the domain cryptojobs.com. It cost me like $250,000. But then I was like, okay, now I have the best domain. So let's just build the best job board as well. So yeah, that's a good example of what I'm doing now.
All right. So congratulations on the crypto jobs. I think that's very well done, and I agree so much. It's so much needed, right? Uh, the entire kind of like rating aspect, of the problem, for instance, with this industry is, just like I mentioned, right, that you don't know who is who until you actually have experienced them, right? Which becomes a little bit difficult at times to the world outside to just get engaged with crypto without really, breaking this uncertainty barrier, because many people are just simply uncertain. They are conservative about their choices, so they are not so much risk seeking. So they wouldn't hire the first come first serve basis, some random, faceless masked people from crypto, because they have a conviction from media that these guys are going to scam, that they're going to be rug pulls, and just bad reputation, which in reality, many cases is. So I truly appreciate your commitment to actually finding and reverting those past aspects and cleansing this space a little bit, and on that front. What other ventures like do you have on your account, like as a leader, right? As you kind of like want to just unfold this leadership and just inspire all the other generations of those new millionaires that are coming.
So what do you mean exactly?
Like, do you have, because crypto jobs is one thing, right? Is this the only venture that you kind of like allocated your time and focus on and creating and trying to make this fundamental change, or is it something else on the other ventures?
I mean, okay, so I am involved in many things, because I believe in crypto so much that I want to, be involved in many things. Of course, I have my YouTube channel. That's one thing. That's media. That's, exposure, and that's you know education. So that's the core thing from the beginning, right? Um, and then I'm an investor. I've invested in many companies, many. I've invested in exchanges. I've invested in you name it. I've invested in like a bunch in crypto, and sometimes I invest a lot. And when I do, I also go in on a sometimes not operational level, but like board level, and I sit there and I have my thoughts and advice, and I think, with the team of the company, like how to make it better, because I want to, of course, protect my own capital, but also be there and build in the crypto industry. So that's something I do as well. One example of that is, of course, Medieval Empires, a crypto game. I've invested a lot of money there, and I think gaming, like I said, is going to be that next big thing. And the reason why I think gaming is so important in crypto is because I think crypto gaming will be a big way of getting in new users from mainstream to crypto, because gaming, everyone understands it. It's so simple. Everyone knows how to play Candy Crush, right? You don't need technical knowledge to do so. So I think we can get mainstream people interested in crypto by playing crypto games. Because if you take Medieval Empires, for example, it's actually, it's exactly like a Web 2 game. You can play it easy, free to enter, free to play. You can download it, on any computer. It will be on mobile soon as well. So for mainstream, that's very easy. And then you have the Me token, MEE, and you have NFTs. You have all these crypto elements. So we can teach the mainstream while they are having fun. And I think that's the best way to learn. So I think crypto gaming. That's why I invested there. I've invested in actually many games, but that's the biggest one. And yeah, just a few examples of that. And what else? I mean, yeah, many things. But actually, one other thing that I'm working on right now is my music. So
There you go. I wanted to talk about that. Go on, man. Tell me
yeah,
what's new. To give me everything.
yeah. So basically, as of right now, you'll find my music with this name, Carl Runefelt. However, I am actually considering rebranding my name to Carl Moon, and I'm already Carl Moon, right? So it's not really a rebrand. It's like basically going back to my first name, because I think Carl Moon sounds better for a recording artist. Or what do you think?
I think it's good, man. A good way to kickstart. And again, for everybody who's actually watching and viewing that, you definitely go and have to check. Give it a check to Carl's Spotify and to entire music. Under this name, and especially before he changes the name, right? Because that then it's actually gonna explode. I'm pretty positive about that. You know, I mean, I've tracked your, well, progress is about word. I mean, because you've always progressed, right? So I didn't see it. However, from time to time, occasionally just get to hear what you do, and I'm always impressed, right? Because of course there's this crypto phase that, like I said, everybody knows. However, not many people know that you're actually extremely talented musician. And I heard you sing, I heard you play the guitar, and I know you do both very well, which is not easy, right? You've got a technique, you got all those different melismats, all those different, vocal kind of like, techniques. You've got a, very, very good kind of like a soothing voice that I think is very good for what you do, in those types of ballads, right? You would play mostly like, ballads and type of a.
Actually, the two things because I'm a songwriter, that's what I do most of the time. I write songs,
You
and
told me
when
that,
I
yeah.
yeah, and when I write songs, it's usually either a ballad, like with piano or like slow guitar, or rock. A little bit like, imagine like um, a little bit like punk rock slash like maybe AC/DC, but with more like, instead of like very heavy rock sounds, more like acoustic. It's hard to describe. I think the best thing is I just produce my first album and then you will hear it. But I love writing songs. It's my favorite thing to do. I love that more than Bitcoin, actually, which is surprising to most, but it's actually true. Like, music is my first passion. And I think many people will think when I make music, they will think, oh, Carl, he's like, middle-aged crisis. Like, he has so much money now, he's just gonna pay himself into music. But
Bro, but
actually,
even what if, like, doesn't matter, you just
yeah,
go,
even
right?
if that's the
Enjoy.
case, yeah. No, like, that is actually not the case. Like, it was always my childhood dream, and no money or money, I would have done it anyways. Like, I tried before crypto, I tried to become a musician, or to become, something, but I had no money, no connections, and the best I could do was get like, I think 50,000 views on a YouTube video. Like, I was like, woo, which is not bad, but like that was like the height of my music career.
That was X
Um,
Factor. Was it Got Talent? What was it?
Oh yeah, I did apply to go to Swedish Idol, but I was
Idol.
not able. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was too nervous, and yeah, they rejected me. Unfortunately, I think I yeah. Anyways, I'm embarrassed about it. You will find it if you search on YouTube, but I prefer you don't because it's embarrassing. But yeah, I do have 5 songs on Spotify that I made when I was very young, like 17 years old. They don't represent the music I make today or will make, but at least you can see how I made songs when I was a kid. But yeah, I do have some songs lined up, and I can show you. Like,
You've got a guitar handy?
no, you're not that lucky, bro. But but this here is
Yeah,
my
you
voice
show me
note.
that. You show me that. Yeah.
Last time, let me check how many voice notes this is.
You told me
Yeah,
that you do 30 daily or so,
yeah, it's 1,500 voice notes, and if you
just from
divide that,
yesterday.
yeah, I mean, if you divide that by 10, that's probably like
Yeah.
150 songs then, because it's like 10 voice notes on average per song. And here I can show you also the let's see here. So I'm basically right now preparing um, a an album. So this here is the current probable set list of the album.
Yo, that is the catch. I got you.
This
So
is the
that is
first time I'm
exclusive.
leaking this, by the way. So
That's exclusive. Okay. I'm gonna frame it on my wall, yeah.
yeah, I mean, let's see. Let's see in the future. Maybe one of these songs pop off. Then at least you will see the first time
Of course. Of
yeah.
course, man. Well, I mean, for like I said, for all the talent, right, that you have, for the intelligence. I mean, like I said, I wish I could say that about everybody in the space, right? Because not everybody is just selfless as you are. Of course, you are a family man yourself, right? I always preach, the relationship that you have with your brother, and just the family aspect. So that's commendable, and I think we need more of that, uh, more of that, generosity, and just real, genuine family orientation in this space and in the world. So it's, I thank you for that as well. High good family from me as well. Just back to the music real quick. I might have told you the story last time we met, before we wrap the show in a moment, about like my, how I got inspired back in the day, by Justin Timberlake's music, and even though I'm not necessarily like the biggest pop music fan, I'm much more of a blues rock type of a guy, like Joe Bonamassa and Tommy Emmanuel, and much more of a blues guy. uh, then I admire Justin as an artist, and funnily enough, they are on the tour right now, Justin and his crew, and we landed in the same hotel in Poland when they were touring and opening the European leg tour, uh, and and we basically partied for like 7 days straight with his entire team, with the musicians, with Kevin Williams, with Leon De Silva, with Dante Winslow, with Sean, with Johnny Wright, with his manager, even Justin's like stylist, who's respectively way more experience on the timeline, and that's all an incredibly consistent and very good crew. They are party rockers as well, so they're gonna come back to Poland, and that's gonna be awesome, right? However, they've also inspired a little bit of me, bringing back this old type of a musical desire as well, to release something, to out of, let's say, when the bear market kicks in. Of course, there's not going to be much to do in the crypto, except for just chilling, and just when time, well, just enjoying, right? So I'm more than happy to, like I said, grab a guitar, and two of us just sit together, jump together, and you've got a higher pitched voice yourself. I've got a higher pitched voice myself. I sing in a men's choir, so there's a lot of that interesting combinations, that may come out of that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let's make it happen, man.
Let's make it happen, man. And I agree. So one last question, Carl. With all the experience, like I said, with all the leadership that you have, and that genuine sheer love that you have for the people, what's the kind of like a final tip for everybody who's just getting started, for all those 6,000 people that are watching this right now? uh, what would be their main kind of like a takeaway, from this show? Like, what would you recommend them do for the next 6 to 12 months, if they want to do well, if they want to, become as good of a man as you are?
Okay, so in crypto specifically,
You name it. You got freedom
hmm,
to decide.
so Well, I think this. So I will say something that applies to literally anyone. If whether you're in the US or Sweden or Nigeria or like anywhere in the world, Asia, the law of attraction can change anyone's life, whether you're rich or poor, or black or white, or where you are in the world. The law of attraction applies to everyone because we are um, spiritual beings. We are vibrational beings, and we live in a vibrational world. And this vibrational world, it's a holographic world. It actually only exists in terms of frequency and energy, which is quantum physics. Um, and if you change your energy, you can change your world, your world basically. And this is how you do it. So everything is energy, which includes thoughts, words, and actions and feelings. So if you can change these components within you, then you can change your vibrational state and then attract what you want. So basically, of course, feelings might be tough immediately to change. So let's start with what's easy: words and thoughts. Words are the easiest because you can just say positive things. You can tell yourself every day when you wake up, I am happy, I am rich, I am a crypto millionaire, I am free, I travel the world. These things I told myself when I was in the supermarket. And those are words, and words eventually become thoughts, which becomes feelings. And these are all very strong vibrational frequencies. And like attracts like. So if you have these frequencies in you, then you will attract that reality. And that's what I did. So that's how I went from a supermarket to buying a Bugatti Veyron just 3 years after quitting my job, because I attracted that reality. And it can only be explained, I think, through the law of attraction. I started the law of attraction before I even knew that Bitcoin existed. So I attracted Bitcoin, crypto, the YouTube channel, all my businesses, all my investments, and so the law of attraction, that's the key to not only success but to health and happiness and friendships and living your dream life. Basically, why don't you wake up every day and say, I'm living my dream life, until it's actually true? That's what I did, and now I live my dream life.
Love it, love it. And I wish to everybody who's watching and viewing that right now to actually attract as many bitcoins as you can on the dips, especially, right? It's gonna be a wild ride next couple of months. And ladies and gentlemen, what a good session. I really, truly, genuinely enjoyed that, Carl. You're the man. I really, everything I say to you off the record and on the record is always 100% transparent and genuine. So I thank you for that, because I truly believe, many more people still, even though you're very popular, many more people should still be aware of how good of a person you are, and you should have so much more of the publicity, even more than you do have right now. So with what you've already built, congratulations. With what you're building, I'm more than happy, to be a cheerleader of yours. You got always a brother in supporting me. And at the same time, I'm definitely gonna take you up on that gem and the guitar and the recordings and everything. We're gonna make it happen, my man. And I'll see you sometime soon. And thanks so much for your time. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you, bro. Always a pleasure. And guys, follow me on Spotify. I just broke 1,000 followers. It's mind blowing.
1,000 people. Try. Good luck squeezing that in one room, right? It's gonna be difficult. I appreciate
True.
it. I appreciate it, everybody. Been your host, Adrian Zdunchik, CMT, Charter Market Ignition, CryptoVerb, and the best time is now. The best time is now to get a change, to improve, to become better men, to invest. Go ahead and enjoy. God bless you all. See you around. Bye bye.